calm yourself. It's just me, little old John. In before the comment, man, all you do is just rant and bemoan stuff. You didn't watch my last stream of 2022 where I literally talked about like a bunch of movies I loved, including Yule Log. That's still one of my favorite movies. I think if the three movies that I would remember from 2023 most vividly are going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's still my favorite. Yule Log, I think, is coming in as a second. Is a movie that just marked a spot in my soul. Like, yes, Yule Log. And then Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, because it was a surprise. I didn't think I'd actually like that movie, and it just surprised the crap out of me that I liked it more than I thought it would. So, it's not all about me complaining. It isn't. It's not just me complaining about Avatar 2. And then this movie that we're going to talk about today, Babylon. Holy crap. All right, to be fair, let's be honest and tell you exactly how I feel about Damien Chazelle. He is, I consider, the anti-me. Like, you took me and you copied it, but then the worldview you basically inverted. Because I'm a jazz player. I like jazz. I saw Whiplash, and I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was well made. I thought everything about it was really good. But the core message was so botched. Like the whole idea of the approach toward music was so wrong. I remember, because I was in a jazz band, a college level jazz band at the time. Somebody was talking about Avatar. The fire alarm went off halfway through. I wanted to walk out. It was a blessing. Okay, so you got some bad response. Anyhow, I'll just put it up there so you guys can read it. Damien Chazelle. Hey, Rick, how you doing? All right, there, just put you up there. All right. So Damien Chazelle, he is like me. His movies are like what I would literally be interested in if his message or his look on the things that he. So anyhow, I'm a jazz player. I play trumpet. When I was in this college jazz band, a community college jazz band. The director was a PhD in drum performance. Great guy. Ended up being the dean of the school, which coincidentally I now work for as a teacher. So I'm involved with that college. But he was fielding questions from parents saying, his jazz band really and he's like, no. And then he finally watched the movie and he also just disliked it because I think the message of the movie is just dumb. It's so dumb. It's like the Daniel Craig. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. So dumb. So I appreciate the craft of Whiplash and the acting and the story. The script is well written. However, it's such a perverse understanding of the art of jazz, or at least teaching jazz, that I can't endorse it. And then he made La La Land. And La La Land is like, oh, I like musicals and movie musicals and jazz. This is a perfect movie for me. And then I watched it, and it was just such a fake and shallow reading of such a shallow fake reading of Hollywood fame machinery. I mean, it was just, to me, it rang so hollow. It rang so incredibly hollow that I did. The thing is, it's like a lot of people were like, well, I'm not usually into movie musicals, but I like La La Land. Well, I am into movie musicals, and I did not like La La Land. I wouldn't say I hated it, because I feel like even though the title of this video is I hated Babylon. Well, no, I didn't hate La La Land. I feel like I hate Babylon more, but La La Land, I did not like it. And I kind of resent it for getting the praise that it's gotten for being a movie musical when I thought it was a very poor representation of movie musicals. I didn't see First Man, so we'll skip that one. And then here we go, John. You like the silent era, don't you? Yeah, I've made videos about old Hollywood. I've made videos about the old moguls like William Fox and Adolf Zukor. I like reading about silent film era because I consider it a kind of a foreign era. I don't think of silent films as basic. I think when we think of old movies, we don't think of silent films. We think of the 1930s. That's really the birth of modern cinema, what we considered cinema. The silent films is like a different world. So it's a similar world, but it's like through the looking glass kind of a world, right? And I think it's fascinating because I've read the accounts of like Errol Flynn, who, I mean, the movie presents a lot of debauchery in the silent era, which is documented as true. It's documented. People have written first-hand accounts of the debauchery that went on during the silent era because of the money that was just flowing through it. But so anyhow, so I am customer uno number one. I am like the prime audience, the guy that like likes old Hollywood and likes the cinephile that likes the silent era, that's interested in that era. And yes, I recognize all the little tiny little tidbits they put in there. You know, oh, like when Brad Pitt says, are you talking about sound movies? And he's like, oh, you're talking about Don Juan? It's like, I get that reference. He's talking about Don Juan, the first Vitaphone movie, the first sound movie. It wasn't Jazz Singer, it was Don Juan. He's like, no, not Don Juan, I'm talking about the Jazz Singer. So I get those references. I'm primary target number one. And I was sitting there, and it's very well made. The movie is really cool, but good God, it's just dumb. I feel like it's, again, we can kind of talk through the dissection, and I'm not saying it doesn't try to be a little more allegorical. It doesn't try to be a little more deeper into the topic, but the conclusion and the note that it ends on is so utterly terrible. It is so cheap and weak and just it's. Oh, okay. Let's. Now I set up the background. I set up the groundwork for what I'm trying to talk about. Let's talk about the movie itself. All right. So Babylon is basically imagine this. It's Boogie Nights set in the silent era, because that's literally what the movie is about. It follows like 3 or 4 different characters as they make the transition from the silent film era to the talkie era. They include Margot Robbie, who plays this. And by the way, the movie bombed worse than like Fallujah. I'm sorry, that's a terrible reference. But anyhow, it made $7 million, and it was like made for $100 million. Rigel, let me ask you, do you like stuff? I love stuff. I love stuff so much. But Jessica, you got to watch the last live stream I did, because I literally talked about 6 movies that I absolutely loved. But you're only going to complain when I bitch about a movie that I thought was absolutely dreadful. And again, I realize, like La La Land, there are a lot of people that love La La Land, and I just do not like it. I think it's shallow and manipulative, and just like it's a fantasy about a fantasy. And it's like, and people are kind of like approaching it like, oh, this is what it was really like, or in Los Angeles, whatever, or in the Hollywood system. And then this Babylon, although it has some grounds and some reality, like there's a lot of the characters represent, like the Chinese girl is kind of an anime Wong with Dietrich, because she's trying to play with the transgenderism, and Dietrich is very much, we look at like Marlene Dietrich now, or Dietrich, I'm probably messing her pronunciation. We look at her, there's a famous photo of Marlene Dietrich wearing a tuxedo, right? And we look at it today and we think, wow, that is high fashion, that is amazing. Like, it's that image of her in the tuxedo. Can I even pull it up? I don't think on my computer, I got some stuff set up to do this. Marlene Dietrich, right? Tuxedo shot. Like, we look at these photos of her. Like, I'll pull this on for you guys. Oh, my mouse is, there we go. Just so you can pop it out real quick there and see it. That's my editing computer there. There she is, that photo. And there's a bunch like that where she's wearing that tuxedo. Very today we look at that and that's like, oh, that's typical Vogue stuff. That's typical, you would see this on the cover of Vogue. That's not shocking, right? But back in the 30s or whenever this was happening, it was much more of a big deal, right? And so there's a character that represents her and then mixes with Anna May Wong, who was an early Chinese superstar basically during the silent period. And there are some comments that you can talk about, like how the silent era was a lot more inclusive as far as different races and minorities. I don't want to say minorities, but like different races. I talk about a long time ago I discovered the guy that was in Bridge Over River Kwai as the captain, who's a Japanese guy. I forget his something Hideko not Kurosawa, but something like, I don't know. I'm bad, but let's see. Let's just look at him up. I'm gonna look him up real quick. All right, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. No, Bridge Over River Kwai. Okay, and the actor's name is. I'm going along. I know it's taking a long time. We got some time. We can talk. Setsu Hayakawa. Setsu Hayakawa was a matinee star during the silent era. There's a lot of Rudolph Valentino, again, another non-necessarily white, at least considered back in those days, white. Just there's different people in the silent era. And then when we converted to sound, yes, it did kind of get a little more white bread. It kind of got a little more reduced to just white Anglo-Saxon, right? So there's a little more variety. Yes, there's stuff to talk about. But the way the movie approaches it, it's like those details are just like a shellacking on the surface over this fever dream of Damien Chazelle's like perverse image of how the time period was. Now, okay, this is one of my pet peeves, and let's just talk about it. You guys can correct me. I'll have the chat open so I can read you guys' opinions. It was better than Amsterdam. I never finished Amsterdam, so I guess in true that it was Leon. It probably was better because I kind of turned off Amsterdam because I just couldn't take it anymore. All right. D Fire says, please be very critical. I wasn't partial to Lala, but consider Whiplash memorable. I learned so much about filmmaking, and I respect your perspective. Well, thank you. More than QT's? No, QT is red. QT is like, QT could throw me under the table as far as like his understanding of well, at least more toward late Hollywood. I don't know if QT is that interested in early Hollywood. Not that I'm not some expert scholar. Okay, I really am not. You're feeling like historians felt about Troy? Yeah, probably. All right, so here's my big pet peeve, and this is something I've been kind of pissed off about. So in the movie, again, I didn't realize it made $7 million, so probably not many people have seen it. All right, well, let's just talk about my pet peeve right now, and I'll go back and tell you more about the plot and all that. In the movie, they depict silent filmmaking as if it was that game, The Movies, where they had all these different like little sets, and they were all in the same lot, and they're all doing some crazy chaos going on during. I'm almost 100% certain that that's not how silent films were made. Like, they weren't all like on this big piece of land and they had all these different sets and they were all shooting at the same time and it was just total chaos constantly. I don't think that's the way it happened. And then the pet peeve of mine is they had a band playing while they were recording the movie, which was silent, obviously. They didn't record sound. So they had a band going. I have not seen any evidence that any silent movie had a live orchestra playing while the scene was going on. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be totally wrong, but I have not, in anything I've ever been introduced to, that they would have a live band playing while they were shooting the scene. That to me seems like a waste of money. Why even bother? And then on top of that, so here they have a live band playing. And then when they cut to the finished movie is watched in silence, which pisses me off because if you knew anything about silent film, you would know that they do not watch silent films in fucking silence. God, Damien Chazelle, how can you call yourself a student of silent or student of any kind of history of film If you're depicting them, this is like a premiere of this movie, of Margot Robbie's movie, and they're all sitting there like, and the screen is silent, and then it pulls out from the screen, and you don't see a live band or anything in front of it. Everybody's watching this movie in perfect silence. What the hell? Come on! I mean, look, I'm a musician. Damien Chazelle obviously has some sort of musical background. He makes Whiplash, he makes these musical movies. Do you not know that those movies had freaking live music? Like, you would always, especially for premiere, like those silent films would have like big orchestras playing. Like they actually had like 15-piece orchestras playing for their silent film. No one watched this fucking shit in silence. Oh! That's my number one big pet peeve with that was, now look, you might say, well, that's a small point. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, it's a small point. But it's a key, crucial point in why his work feels so unbelievably shallow. Because you don't even bother to get any of the details right. Now, look, I'm going to compare this to something like Hail Caesar. Coen brothers show to me that they love the history of cinema. Damien Chazelle puts it on as fucking just armor, plot or criticism armor. Oh, I'm depicting this world. Because the other aspect of it, okay, I haven't even told you anything about the plot. I'm sorry about that. You got me so worked up. I am so worked up on this Saturday. Oh my God. John, I hold you. John, I feel like you're holding back. We love you. This is a safe space. I know. This is my therapy session. Yeah, Leon says, I thought that the band playing was odd. You could say maybe it was a stylistic thing that he wanted to give some sort of, I forget the term for it, when diegenic source of the music in the scene. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Look, here's the thing. It's like you can. I've seen The Great Gatsby. I thought The Great Gatsby was fine. I didn't have any problems with the way they took modern sensibilities and applied them to a 1930s story, and in a stylized format, and do it in a very stylized. I get that it worked for me. It worked. I wasn't crazy about The Great Gatsby, but it works. I love The Great Gatsby. That was like my favorite book as a kid because I was a white knight, not soy boy, because I wasn't a soy boy. I was never a soy boy, but I was like a white knight, like bleeding heart. Oh my God, Gatsby is so sad and tragic. Okay, I love The Great Gatsby. I read it twice, and then I was required reading. And when my ninth grade English class, when I was required reading, I got the only A in that freaking class because the teacher was so hard on everybody. And then they made us read Catcher in the Rye, and I liked the book, but I apparently didn't understand a damn thing from it because I got like a C on that paper. But I love The Great Gatsby. I had no problem with the way The Great Gatsby incorporated kind of a nouveau modern take on that era, the 1920s era, Roaring '20s. However, like when this movie tries to kind of give you a sense of the silent era, and they put Margot Robbie in these way inappropriate fashions, way inappropriate like dress. Like orgies happened in the silent era. It's absolutely true. They happened. But you got to remember, the sexual revolution had not happened yet. And the general public would not have been very happy to see her doing, especially in some of the clothing she was wearing. It was way, way too risque and way too like out there for the time period. So there's a huge kind of like a tonally bizarre shift in the production design because in some ways they wanted that look of the classic Roaring '20s, and then they put her in this just outrageously stuff that would be maybe more appropriate today. I don't want to hark too much about that because that's not even the worst part about the movie. Yeah, it's not a documentary, John. Of course it isn't. Of course it's not a documentary. But the thing is, it's like, look, here's the thing. I can appreciate, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm making an analogy. I'm not making a metaphor. I'm analogizing. I can appreciate Leni Riefenstahl's ability to create a brilliantly beautiful film. I can also hate the Nazi symbolism and ideology that those films represented. I understand there can be amazing work done, but I can also hate the underlying core concepts, messages, thoughts about it. And I really, really hate that part of this movie. Now, again, because I know a little bit about silent film history, because I'm a little bit more familiar with it, okay, maybe that's why it is. Hays Code wasn't around. This is pre-code stuff, right? But if you look at the pre-code stuff, it's like what Margot Robbie was doing in this movie would have been so over the line, even in 1920s. Like, if you're talking about a popular, look, come on. Mary Pickford is the freaking star. Mary Pickford's the sweet little innocent girl. There's like this imaginary, the sexual revolution of the 60s kind of creates this like glass bubble. Like, and we don't realize that, before that time, there's a lot more prudishness. There really was. And there's no way that someone like whatever her name, character, Margot Robbie's name, and the character in Noel something, LaJoy or whatever, LaRoy or whatever. There's no way it would have flown. No way it would have flown. And then, okay. And then the tonal issues are horrendous. As I put in the description in the video, in the first roughly 2 minutes, they're pushing an elephant up this mountain in a car designed for a horse, or truck designed for a horse, and it's not strong enough. So they get out and they start pushing the elephant up this mountain on this truck. They start pushing it, and the elephant's freaking out. Ah! And then it shits, and then we get a shot of the anus of the elephant. Again, 2 minutes in the movie, and then you see fecal matter spewing at the lens. And then we see a shot of the actor. He's getting spewed all over. It's like a Farrelly Brothers movie. But the first 2 minutes, and for the first time, I am reminded why immersion in film is not always a good thing, James Cameron. I am so glad I did not watch an elephant shit on the camera in 3D. For God's sakes. Yeah. Hey Ho is saying, ew, what the fuck? Yes, I'm talking 2 minutes into the film. The elephant literally close up. I'm not even close up on the hair. Right there, you see the hole on the fucking screen. So Dumbo 3D, yeah, pretty much. On the screen. And then like, okay, so you hadn't had enough yet. So we get a little kind of like a sort of a nod to Fatty Arbuckle. So there's a story about Fatty Arbuckle. He there's a long, I don't know the exact, I remember reading it, but I don't remember the exact details, but he is involved with the death of a certain, she was a dancer, and she might have been doing, some prostituting things with him. But the whole, she was found dead or something. She was dead after an encounter with Fatty Arbuckle. And the worst part about it, and as a robust, rotund man myself, they accused Fatty of Arbuckle of basically killing her by being too fat. He was fucking her and he was too fat and he crushed her, and that's why that's bullshit. It ruined Fatty Arbuckle's career. But we get a visual representation of that immediately after, as we see this large fat belly, hairy belly, and a girl straddling him, and then you see a little stream of urine hitting his stomach. This is wonderful. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I heard about these things. I'm like, I want to see that movie. So I went to see the movie. Oh, God. Daniel Sandovar loved it, went back for a second viewing. What can I say, man? Some people, I can't account for your tastes, because I thought the movie was so utterly trash. And then there's this big party going on. Everyone's and there's this nudity and everything. Yay, fun. Dude, what the fuck did you watch? I watched Babylon. This piece of shit movie by this overrated hack of a director who is basically me, but like with an evil mustache. Like Damien Chazelle is my evil twin. And it's also 3 hours and 10 minutes, by the way. So that's what the truth is. All right. So we meet Margot Robbie. She's like an up and coming. She's like, she's not a star. She's not a wannabe star. She is a star. She's yet to be discovered. And she meets this guy named Manny, and Manny's like this Mexican immigrant guy. And he's like, oh, well, my parents came from Mexico and I want to be on a movie set. And then they meet Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt's like this aging, he's supposed to be based on John Gilbert. I don't know anything about John Gilbert. Anyhow, he's kind of an aging silent star who's having trouble transitioning into sound. But then they get to the sound era. So they get famous. Margot Robbie kind of becomes famous for being the it girl. They're trying to portray as Clara Bow. She becomes the it girl, and then sound happens, right? And then she's in this little cheesy movie. And here's what I don't. Here's this sequence. I heard a lot of people talk about how great this sequence is. I mean, it is crafted well. It's a well-made sequence. However, man, oh man, it makes me question what the hell. I don't. Okay, so they're composed. They're on a sound studio. So remember, silent film was all shot outside because you use natural light, and they're all the funds. Then they go in the sound studio, and then Margot Robbie has to walk to the line her mark, deliver her line because they have a microphone right above for her, and then she has to go to another mark and then talk on the phone. And they keep doing. She keeps missing her mark, or what? She misses her mark by like 6 inches, and they say, "Well, we can't hear you." So the microphones apparently aren't sensitive enough to catch her if she's off axis by let's be a little bit more generous. Let's say 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So she's off by 2 feet, and the microphones are not capable of handling her, catching her voice, right, from being off axis for 2.5 feet. Okay, we accept that. However, in the same scene, they stop a take because someone's shoe or someone's pin is ringing in their pants. So you're telling me that she's off by 2 feet and that causes not being able to capture her sound, and yet you can hear like somebody's pin from like 30 feet away? What the fuck? You just like you just like pretend to make shit up on this fucking movie. This is just like, whatever we just gonna have a. And then they put this guy, the camera is correctly. They put the camera in a big soundproof booth. That is correct. That is period correct, right? But the booth's so hot that the poor camera guy, they keep yelling and telling him, "You gotta do another take. You gotta do another take." And the camera guy like actually dies in the camera booth because. I've never seen any story. So Daniel Sullivan said, "Singing in the Rain did it better." And here's the worst part about it. Then they try to fold in your appreciation of old movies and Singing in the Rain and try to pretend like all this shit that the people are working for is like, oh, they want to be part of something bigger. They want to be part of something bigger. That the reason why they want to be The reason why they want to do Hollywood is because they want to live forever and be bigger, be something grander. And so going through the situation, nobody survives. It's Boogie Nights, right? Nobody survives the transition to sound. Spoiler alert, Brad Pitt ends up killing himself. Margot Robbie dies off screen and it's just noted that she died at like 35. Spoilers, you're not going to watch it. No one's watched it. It's made $7 million. No one's watching it. Anyhow, so this Manny guy who rose to big prominence in Hollywood and then had to leave because he got involved with trying to bail out Margot Robbie, who basically ghosts him for whatever reason. he goes to the movies. It's like 50. They shoot his buddies and they say, "You get out of L.A. Don't ever come back." And he leaves in 1930 whatever. He comes back in 1950s, and he's like, "I'm brought my wife and son to here to see. This is where I used to work at the Paramount Studios entrance where they changed the logo." But anyhow, so he's like, "I'm gonna go see a movie." So he gets down, he sits down, he watches Singing in the Rain. And boy, oh boy, a lot of the similar scenes are happening because Brad Pitt had a scene where he says, "I love you, I love." It's like kind of a callback. A lot of Singing in the Rain callbacks in there, and the microphone issues and all that. It's like, oh, remember they used to talk about this Singing in the Rain? And then the movie does something utterly fucking unforgivable, in that it pretends to be high art when it's just done showing you an elephant shitting on the lens. And then pretends like, and it's going to go into a montage of, look at all these. You remember, I don't know if you guys, on my Filmmaker IQ channel, I have a filmmaking redefined montage where we show like lots of clips from classic movies. So you see Un Chien Andalou where they cut the eye. You see what was another one that was on there? I'm trying to pick the ones. Raiders of the Lost Ark. You see the smoke coming up. You see Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy opens the door and she's entered the world. And then you see the movie Tron. Wait, what? You fucking put Tron in there? And then it cuts to the T-2000, the robot with a silver robot being cut in half. And it's like, and it cuts to Avatar. I was expecting him to insert like a La La Land shot in there. Because I would not put it fucking past him to do that. Oh, look at all, they're part of something great. Look at all the movies that you love. And then it turns into like a weird like montage of previous scenes. And he's seeing and then it turns into this avant-garde with flashing colors and shit. And you're just like, and then it ends with him crying, Manny crying because he was part of something bigger, but he lost it. It's like, fuck you. God, what a piece of crap. What a piece of crap. It was, and I'm sure it will win the Oscar. It will win the Oscar for Best Picture. No, I don't think it will, because if you look at the tomato meter, it's like 59% positive, and like there's a huge section of people that absolutely, oh yeah, 2 minutes of water ink drops. Thank you. Yeah. Which is like, is this from a movie? Is this from a movie, or is it like, what the fuck is this? I'm sorry, I'm swearing I'm swearing like crazy because this movie is just making me really freaking hurt. T1000, dude, thank you. Eric Ortiz says, yeah, T1000. Yeah, there's 2 minutes of ink drops, and like, is this a movie reference to something? And then flashing lights, and the guy's like, It's like, oh, and oh, by the way, there is projectile vomiting. Margot Robbie does projectile vomit on a rug and on people. It's a Farrelly Brothers comedy. It really is. It's just, oh my God, it's so bad. Oh my God, it's so bad. This sounds like Producers, where the whole purpose is to make something so bad the elites will love it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess he got like $100 million to make this film, and it shows. Like, you see the money on the screen. It's not like they cheaped out on anything. Like, all the set design is there. There's plenty of production value. There's big giant, action scenes and stuff like that. But like, here's another thing too. All right. Nah, I mean, I'm going to be. I'm showing you where my heart is. Okay. The Coen brothers, you see, the Coen brothers they would have employed Roger Deakins, and Roger Deakins would have known that, in the 1920s they had different kind of film stock than they did in the 30s, right? I'm not talking like QT. Like, all right, listen, now get this. All right, I'm going to my Quentin Tarantino impression. All right, so in the 1930s, they had orthogonal film, right? So the film, All right. You see what I'm saying? The film would have rendered a different kind of black and white than the typical 1930s film, which is more of a panchromatic film. So orthochromatic film from the 20s would have even made a little bit different look. I mean, if you just take a look at like something like, The Gold Rush or something like, City Lights, which is Charlie Chaplin, right? Versus something like earlier. You see a very different kind of tonality in the film. All right, stop it with the Tarantino impression. Oh my God. Yeah, so the Coen brothers, look, here's the thing, like I was saying, the Gatsby movie can take liberties with the music, with the style, with the way people talked, okay? You can do that, but do it in a stylistic fashion. But this movie doesn't do a stylistic fashion. There's it wants you to believe that this is kind of like a representation of the era. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, I understand, there's a lot of symbolism of hell. Like, everything is supposed to be like a version of hell, right? Babylon is a version of hell, right? So, but there's no attention to detail. There's no attention to, trying to portray the period. But I'm watching, the scene that happens in Los Angeles during the 50s, and I'm looking at the roads yeah, they at least did get all the classic cars for this shot. But don't forget the LA Underground, the asshole of LA. The alligators and the muscle men eating rats, which I'm sure is just an allegory for more hell, right? Do you think it would have been better if it was directed by the Coen brothers, but with Damien's script? No, Damien's script needs to be tossed in the fucking fire. But I think the thing is, Damien directs it well. His Damien Chazelle is a good visual director. His shots are interesting. Now, there are a couple cuts in there, why are you cutting to the glasses there for some? There are a couple weird cuts, but I like Damien's style. I want to like him, but he is evil me. He is everything I want to see, but done wrong. Because he's a good fucking filmmaker. He's so good. But I just hate his message. Oh, did I miss a couple super chats? Sorry, I was so angry. You're hurting me. You're hurting me with Babylon. All right, let's go back and see if we can find some super chats. I totally missed them. What were they? Let's go back. I got rid of my YouTube thing. Anyhow. You see how worked up I am? I came in on a Saturday. Although, I mean, filmmaking, a filmmaker IQ I will do any day of the week. But I came in on a Saturday. To chat with you guys, because I can't talk to my friends about this, because none of them went to see the movie with me, and they wouldn't care, because it's who cares? It totally doesn't matter. Oh, look, I've been demonetized, because I was swearing like a freaking mother. Or Damien Chazelle's get him, my friends. All right, where are the super chats? Yeah, somebody was saying, I could be literally making this shit up and you guys wouldn't know. Of course, because you guys didn't see the movie because it made $7 million. Of course you wouldn't know. But I'm not making any of this shit up. I am not. Aquarius, okay, here we go. Super chat says, Aquarius, let me see if we can pull it up on the actual vMix here. Super chats. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. I appreciate them all. You saw how pissed off I was, right? Oh, an autofocus box keeps appearing on the frame. You know what happened? Is I think I have... no, that's weird. I don't have it on there. It's weird. The auto tracker's showing up on the screen? That's weird. I'm not seeing it over here. Huh. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that. Let's see. It shouldn't be doing that, yeah. I thought maybe all the, were... all the screen text and shit was on there. I like this other the super chat I saw earlier. Where was it? Alien? Well, I'll just read it for you. Alien said, sorry guys. Alien said, what if we made Boogie Nights, but badly? It's true. Because the movie is Boogie Nights. It is. For all intents and purposes, it is Boogie Nights. So, yeah, there's stuff I'm leaving out. There's stuff I'm leaving out. Oh my God. It was, look, I had to see it. Like I was meaning to see it a couple nights earlier, but it's one of those things where it got super rainy here in California, and I got home, made my mom dinner and all that, and I didn't want to go back out again because it was like pouring rain. So I kind of put it off. And last night I was like, I am going to go see this movie. So I went to a 10. Well, it would have been 10:30 by the time I got there, when the movie actually started because of the trailers and all that crap. And there was like 4 people in the theater, 2 girls behind me that were talking a lot. Sounded kind of cute, but but yeah, I think one guy walked out of it because there was a guy sitting in front of me, but he wasn't there at the end of the movie. Yeah. Oh my God. There's a lot to like in the film. There is. There are elements that are to like. But the whole thing is just so bad. It's so bad. What do you recommend about movies about early Hollywood or movies about making movies? I think Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar is the most accurate portrayal of studio Hollywood that you will see, with a lot of historical references. But I will totally admit, no one who doesn't, if you don't already have like a background in the history of film and studio filmmaking in that era, if you don't have a familiarity with that, you will not enjoy that movie, because it's just, you're missing so much. All the great things about that movie are the fun details. Like there's a whole scene in there where they bring in a rabbi, a priest. I know it's a bad joke, right? A rabbi, priest, and a preacher, and they're discussing, like, and the head of the studio is like, he's making like a Ben-Hur kind of movie, a depiction of Christ, and a Jewish, rabbi, priest, and like a Protestant preacher, right? He's asking them if it's okay to portray Jesus in this way. And the three religious folks start bickering amongst each other about, and the Jewish is like, I don't care, it's not my God. So, but the thing is, that's rooted in a lot of, like, there was a historical battle at the time. The religious movement, along with the temperance folks, were very much a very, like, important force in the history of Hollywood during the time period. People, we kind of mock the Tipper Gore, slap the parental advisory sticker on the rap album, right? We kind of mock that today because that's kind of the echo of what happened in the 20s and 30s. But back in those days, like the religious movement could say, like, hey, don't go see that movie. It is a sin, and they could easily shave off 10% of the box office or more. And nowadays, it's just crazy. Oh, you see the AF tracker? What's going on? Let me see if I can see it. Oh, yeah. What the heck is that about? Why is it doing that? That's weird. Huh. I might have that set up. That's bizarre. Well, I'm not going to go chase the menu down, so you live with it for today. It's because I'm using the C200. I'm not using, I mean, it's, yeah, probably I wonder if the tracker is set to output to the HDMI. That's weird. Won't someone think of the children? Exactly. They did. The Hays Code was. So I think the Hays Code in Hail Caesar, Hays Code would have been in effect, right? The Hays Code wouldn't have been in effect in Babylon because Babylon's pre-code. Let me guess. C70 camera, close. C200. See, I have the C70. I love the C70. C70 is like C70 to me is well, you got there are better cameras out there, but probably not any camera that's better than you probably won't be able to use them any better than this camera. Because ever since they added the RAW features of the C70, it's like, what do you need more? That's it. Like maybe you need, okay, well, I mean, I personally, for what I do, what I shoot, what I expect to create, I don't see the C70 I don't see the C70 holding me back at all. C200 was nice, but the C70, ooh, I still use a C200. You're seeing the image right now. That's a C200. Anyhow. All right. What's up with the whale intro? I get the A24, but same with Babylon intro, just kind of random. I don't know what the Babylon intro was. I mean, the Babylon intro is like 30 minutes of the film, and then you see Babylon. All right, you get Nay Dolar, you get your resin printer, Anycubic Mono X2. That's a nice one. Just make so one thing with resin printers is try to keep it clean. If you don't already have one, get a plastic sheet for the screen in case you spill some resin on the screen. It's much easier just to replace the plastic sheet than it is to try to get that off the screen. But yeah, that'll be fun. The resin printers, I haven't done much printing at all recently, but it's great. Rigel7 says, I was trained on the C300 and the Scarlet Red weapon. Got into the real world, and my primary bit kit was a Yamaha Viking 6 side-by-side. Weird, huh? I don't know what the Viking 6 is. All right. The new Panasonic S5 II, S5 IIX are all over the YouTube looking promising. Once I get a camera that I'm happy with, all other cameras are invisible to me. Like, I don't care. I honestly do not care. I've never been a Panasonic fan. Anyhow. Mondo. Let's see. Did you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Is another example of a good film about filmmaking. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is obviously, but it's about a different era. But it's also, to me, it feels like it's a smart movie. It is a smart movie. It kind of like knows a little bit about what it's talking about. I liked it a lot. I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a lot. It's not my favorite. Pulp Fiction is my favorite QT movie, but it's, the more distance I get from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the further away I get from, the more fond I think of it. So, anyhow. Chuck, look at the curbs downtown LA, way higher than the rest of the planet, right in front of Musso and Frank's. When I was watching Babylon, I was looking at the sidewalks in the 50s, and I was wondering if that was period correct. I mean, well, look, the ending of the movie is 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours in the movie. I was already checking out about 2 hours in the movie. I was already like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So by that time, I'm looking at the sidewalks. I'm like saying, the sidewalks look awfully modern. Is what I was thinking. So anyhow, I thought it never rains in Southern California. Well, you'd be right. Like 95% right now, we're getting torrential pours. I think it's because we had a nice warm Christmas, and all the rest of the world all the rest of the United States had a very freezing one. So we're getting payback now. All right, going back to some of your comments here. Let's see. Yeah, the runtime is automatically off-putting. I know, it's just as long as Avatar. Or almost as long as Avatar. Babylon, that is. I don't like Angry John. Say something positive about a movie you watched recently. Why didn't you watch my last stream? I literally talked about 7 movies that I loved. I didn't watch a single movie that I did not like on the last stream. I talked about Matilda. I talked about Glass Onion, which I liked. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. I watched Bullet Train. I watched My Dinner with Andre. I watched Addams Family Values again because I rewatched that. I watched Yule Log. I watched all these great movies, but you only click on the ones where I talk about movies I don't like. So you guys realize you have a bias when you click on stuff of me like getting pissed off. There you go. Damien Chazelle says, Damien Chazelle's Babylon 3, Revenge of HFR. Babylon 2, Rise of 3D. We need elephant shitting on the camera in 3D and HFR and smell-o-vision. Oh my God. It's like you're right there getting shit on by the elephant. That's what we need. we need elephant, we need, I'm James Cameron, and I want to bring full immersion. I want you to be right there in the movie as the elephant takes a diuretic shit on your face. That's what we need. That's what cinema is going for. Immersion. More asbestos, more asbestos, more asbestos. John Waters would unironically love it. John Waters at least has a better sense of humor. Any Buster Keaton references? There's like two minor Buster Keaton references. So there's a one scene where they're all shooting the original Singing in the Rain song. And again, appealing to cinephiles like me, we know that Singing in the Rain, the Gene Kelly Singing in the Rain, was not the first variation of that song. The first version of that song was they got all these silent movie stars together, or not silent, all these movie stars together. It was like the review of 1932 or whatever. And they're singing in the rain, just sing in the rain. And Buster Keaton is in that original shot. Okay. And they do say like, and then Brad Pitt's like, do I have to do this shit? And they're like, no, come on, Buster Keaton's doing it. He's right over there. So there's a little bit of a Buster Keaton reference in there like that. But I'm rewatching Babylon 5. There you go. Babylon 5. Another Babylon. I never watched Babylon. I never got into Babylon 5. Someone is targeting from time to time. You got you square around your face. Yeah, I got to turn that off. I got to get in there somehow, figure out why it's doing that today. So I have talked about good movies that I liked. The problem is, you guys don't click on the movies when I talk about movies I like. It's Brad Pitt waiting to take him down. It's Damien Chazelle. He's like, this motherfucker. He didn't like La La Land. La La Land was Best Picture of the Year. It got an Oscar for the Best Picture of the Year for about 5 seconds before Moonlight won it. Damien, this John Hess. He thinks he's Damien Chazelle. John Hess is no Damien Chazelle. John Hess is nothing. He's nothing. He's a cheap YouTuber who makes videos about frame rate. That MFer. That's all they do is in the movie Babylon thinks humor is basically everyone yelling motherfucker at each other for like 10 minutes. Motherfucker, get out of here, motherfucker, have the motherfucker. It's like, okay, okay. You want me to talk about a movie I did enjoy? I had reservations about. Reservations. You'll get why that's a pun later. I had reservations about, but I enjoyed it. It doesn't take much to entertain me. I'm sorry. I'm not a snob. Despite the fact that everyone online thinks I'm a freaking movie snob because I talk about 24 frames a second. I'm not a snob. I'm not a snob. I watched The Menu. Have you guys seen this? Put it on HBO Max. I wanted to see it in theaters, but it went through. Yeah, The Menu. Thank you. You guys have followed followed the Twitter, right? I watched The Menu. I enjoyed The Menu. The Menu to me does feel a little bit like a B movie plot. Like if I was watching a B movie from the 50s and 60s, that's the plot line of the movie. The characters are so like overly simplified. The concept is like way too like, really? Is that what's going to happen? However, it's shot so well, it's written well, and actors acted well. It's entertaining. I thought it was fun. I like The Menu. Now, are people saying this is the you're talking about the Babylon. Yeah, some people saw on my channel last time I talked about The Menu, I said I wanted to see it. Some people they said they saw it and they weren't they didn't like it. Like especially the ending takes off and being weird and bizarre. I get that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just found it just entertaining enough. And I thought, and I also thought that the way that the resolution of one of the characters, I won't spoil it. The resolution of one of the characters comes up with was nice. Was a clever and human sort of a solution. I won't say any more about that. I won't spoil any more. But I thought it was a good ending. You know, I thought that movie was fun. It's not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it tremendously. So I liked. I'm a tech snob. How am I tech snob? I'm a tech snob because all my videos are 1080p, and my videos are using the frame rate 24 frames instead of some high tech 60p. Is that why I'm a tech snob? Forgive me, but the Menu's actress that is also in The Whale is good. Which one is that? That's not Anya Taylor-Joy, right? The plot of The Menu was not outstanding, but I think the composition was, yeah. And I think the way the storytelling, the acting, really. I mean, what's his face? Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes is just like licking his chops. More pun intended, right? He's having fun with that role. And Anya Taylor-Joy looks great because she just looks great, and I like it. I liked it. I liked it. Anyhow, so I'm not hating on everything, just Babylon, and the switching high frame rates of Avatar. Is there a filmmaker IQ hear everything wrong with Babylon? Oh, I hope not. I do not. I don't like CinemaSins. I think they're nitpicky but. John's no tech snob. Anytime I mention cameras, he starts saying, I don't give a shit. True. Because you're all trying to make me care. And I don't care. Did you like Princess Bride? It's been a long time since I saw Princess Bride, but I enjoyed it. I did not see Princess Bride when I was a young kid. That's the difference. Like my friends all watched Princess Bride when they were kids. So they have the childhood memory of it. I watched it when I was like maybe 25. So I appreciated it. I thought it was cute and good, but I don't have that childhood relationship to Princess Bride, but it is inconceivable. Somebody on Facebook said, you look just like that guy. I forget his name. Inconceivable. All right. Speaking of Trumbull, the Times writer went to look at his 120 frames per second short. Yeah, I read that review where the projector died. He went to compare it to all the bad frame rates. That Times article review of Avatar is like a mirror of mine. It's almost as if I wrote that, because I did. Just kidding. I didn't write that. Wallace Shawn. Thank you, Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable. That's just inconceivable. And then I'm going to have dinner with my friend Andre, and I'm just going to talk we're going to talk for like 2 hours and not eat anything, which really bugs me about that movie. They didn't eat. Well, maybe they ate when the other guy was monologuing. That's probably when they ate. Yeah, rest in peace, Douglas Trumbull. I think Douglas Trumbull is a crank, but he is obviously a very talented filmmaker and a very talented artist and all that. I've just seen him in certain talks where he just belittles, like you want to talk about tech snobbery, like Douglas Trumbull in certain talks, he comes off as a very, very tech snobbery. Like, why are we still doing this 24 frames a second? Come on, why are we doing this? This is horrible. We should be better than this. That's the impression I've gotten on several of his talks. But, I'm sure I don't know. He spent 40 years trying to get high frame rate passed. So, yeah, Avatar 2 surpassed Top Guns in sales. Cool. I had no impression that Avatar 2 would not do well successfully. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't, because honestly, I didn't like it. And if you go on my comment section of my review, there's a lot of people did not like that part of it. A lot of people liked it, and that's fine. A lot of people are going to love Babylon. A lot of people here in this chat want to see Babylon more than once. That's fine. You got to get used to the fact that we have different opinions on stuff. Oh, yeah, you met Trumbull at the Kabuki Theater in San Francisco when he presented his talk about the future of film. I got his biz card, too. Cool. Question is, did anything he said about the future of film pan out at all? That's the thing, it's like I almost get kind of sick of people, and I'm not focusing on Trumbull here. People that call themselves futurists are usually so full of shit. It's just like, you're just making shit up, dude. I don't think anything Trumbull talking about the future of film makes any sense. Anyhow, well, let's talk about one thing that I did post on my community tab at the YouTube here. Let's see if I can pull it up, because a lot of people were not pushing back on it, and I do want to talk about it. Let's see. Go to my channel. It was a Twitter thing that I saw, and I thought that was really, 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 really smart and take on this topic. And it comes from a guy named Todd Vaziri. And I'll just pull it up for you real quick here as we go into that. Slide it in there. You're going to see my desktop here. Take off your comment there. So here's the tweet. Why does old movies visual effects hold up? Still hold up. And he gives a list of bullet points. Shot design, planning and organization, taste, sticking to a plan, appropriate timeline, small volume of work, appropriate budget. These principles are timeless. And I want to read for you this follow-up because I think it gives a little more conceptual about it. It says, if you think a visual effects shot looks like crap, the people involved with the movie can point to one or more of these bullet points to indicate the reason. And he still continues, please note how none of these bullet points are about the technique, because making good art is technique agnostic. Shot design, planning, organization, taste, sticking to a plan, appropriate timeline, small volume work, appropriate budget. And I kind of stuck the hornet's nest because this is kind of what she was going at. Notice that the use of practical effects is not on that list. Okay? So it's not about practical effects. It's about, do you have a good shot design? Do you have planning and organization to create that visual effects shot? Do you have the taste to know what's a good shot and how it serves the purpose of the story, or whether it's just nonsense? And then can you stick to the plan? Can you create the shot, order it from the VFX and not changing it midway through the stream and constantly revising it to making it completely different than what you started off with? Are you giving the artist the appropriate timeline to actually get the shot completed? Small volume of work, I think, is more like defined volume of work. Like, are you defining, or is it just like make everything, do everything, replace everything? And the appropriate budget is obviously appropriate budget. So if you don't like a shot, it's these things that are causing the problems, right? Not because VFX is bad, not because you should do it practically. No, it's these you need to have shot. You need to basically do it right. So a lot of people are pushing back, and one person called this tweet trash. It's a trash tweet. So if you don't know who Todd Vaziri is, you should know who Todd Vaziri is. And again, appealing to authority, I know I'm doing it, but Todd Vaziri has 84 credits to his name on IMDb. And he's basically a digital artist working at ILM. Right now, he worked on Black Panther. Last one he did was Black Panther digital artist. Thor: Love and Thunder, he was a compositing supervisor. So he was the one that Taika Waititi was calling out, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Eternals, Black Widow, Launchpad, Star Wars Episode 9, Star Wars Rise of Resistance, Solo, Star Wars, Thor Ragnarok, Rogue One, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars Episode 7, Terminator Genesis, Tomorrowland, Strange Magic, Above and Beyond, Big Bang Theory, Captain America, Lone Ranger, Star Trek Into the Darkness, Avengers. This guy kind of, Super 8, Rango, Iron Man 2, his very first credit, I gotta go scroll all the way down. He was, worked on Signs, worked on 3000, Dungeons and Dragons from 2000, Red Planet, Little Nicky, Croc Hollow Man, Xena Warrior Princess, Drive Me Crazy, Inferno, American Pie even. American Pie, that's interesting. Vendetta, Forces, Winchell, all the way back. His first credit is Hercules, 1995. He's been working around for a while. He's been around for a while. So, I don't know. I kind of think his point is there. So, yeah, Nate Doller's VFX were kind of crap, though. Well, follow his advice. What can we point to, right? Was it bad shot design? Was it planning and organization, taste, sticking to a plan, appropriate timeline, small volume work, appropriate budget? If the shots were crap, it's probably one of those. It's not because it was VFX. It's not because it was CGI. It's because it wasn't planned well. And I think that, I'd be listening to what he's saying on that. Again, this is the guy that Taika Waititi said was giving crap to, right? So yeah, and then Mindo was saying taste, and I saw you comment on that. Taste is key. And he folds the idea of aesthetics into taste. So like, does shot design and taste probably commingle? I'm gonna let him make that distinction. But taste is like, do you just throw the camera wiggly, randomly through the shot, or you design it artfully and skillfully, light it properly, that kind of stuff, or light it with interest things? Why do the effects hold up so well? Because of those reasons. Because they had shot design They had planning and organization. They had the taste to know what was going to work in their practical effects. They stuck to the plan. They had appropriate timeline. Maybe that's a questionable thing or not. They had small volume work and they had appropriate budget. That's why they hold up so well, because they had the tools. Recently, Red Letter Media did a video about Nuki. Nuki has 0 CGI in it. It is all practical effects, and it is ugly and terrible. Nuki, it is awful. Go look up Nuki. You think that movie survives because it's practical effects? No, it's this stuff. CGI is the same thing. If you give artists the proper tools and time, and you design the shot well, and you work with what the CGI is capable of doing, like Jurassic Park is a great example of CGI where no one today says that Jurassic Park has bad CGI in it because it survives today, but it's CGI because it's a mix, because they had shot design, planning and organization, taste, sticking to a plan. They had all those tools. I know this is like, again, I love getting pushback because I'm hopefully triggering something you guys to realize the broader truth that is not CGI CGI is not your enemy. The enemy is this grinding, this conveyor belt that just grinds out movies based on a set predetermined release schedule. That's the demon. Don't blame these artists who are just working their butts off. It's the fact that they're just grinding this crap out and expecting you guys all to love it. So, yeah, the Thing's camera movements were extremely geometrical and designed. Exactly. The guy that did the puppets in The Thing nearly died of exhaustion. They did not have a good timeline. Well, maybe it's true. Nuki didn't look as bad as they made it sound. Oh my God, it looked bad. But the aliens did look like rotting fursuits. They kind of looked like giant turds. But the story with that is, so if you haven't watched it, Red Letter Media they do the best of the worst, which they do bad movie reviews. So fans will send in these movies that they think they should review, and they keep getting this movie called Nuki, and it's just this horrible '80s movie about these 2 alien puppets, whatever. But they have like a whole big box of Nuki, and then they started wondering if they could. They found out that there were these VHS. People that were selling VHS tapes, like as collector's items, right? They said Back to the Future of collector's items, $87,000 for this thing, right? So they had their Nuki tape. They went and they got it professionally certified to be a certain quality, right? And then they burned all the rest of them that they had, or they threw them all in the wood chipper. Which, if you haven't seen a videotape thrown in a wood chipper, it's visually the best thing. It's especially the best thing. The wood chipper, VHS and the wood chipper just makes a glorious mess. It looks so great. But anyhow, they put up the very last Nuki VHS they had. They put it on eBay to auction it off, and they were going to donate the money to an animal shelter and then St. Jude. And they ended up raising $87,000 or something like that. When I looked at it was $87,000. It might be more than that. But it was really cool. I thought that was great. A great little thing that they generated there. I remember that they spent ages trying to simulate the steps dinosaurs made with a water ripple in the cup. Yeah, wasn't it like a bass guitar or something like that? They put an amp underneath it and they played a bass note, boom, and that's what created it. What are your thoughts on AI generated films? Not good, because I don't think I think the discussion about AI is still superficial, still kind of superficial. I've been playing a lot with Midjourney lately. Midjourney came out version 4, and I created some pretty interesting results with it. It's actually going to make it. I'll do my next video. We'll have the video thumbnail will be AI generated, or at least partly, because I'm going to doctor it. But the thing is, though, AI doesn't have the soul of the artist, and it sounds very cliche, but here's what I mean. the way AI generates stuff, the way the model that AI works today is it basically kind of evaluates the landscape and takes a bunch of data in, and then kind of like, and then tries to find the average, or tries to pick out like the meaning, the similarities, right? Like for instance, I asked ChatGPT like, "Hey, what's the future of frame rate?" And the thing fed me every single article I've read on high frame rate, which is just dog shit, just completely horse shit. I mean, the same platitudes like, well, some filmmakers don't like high frame rate, but the future will be, the future was yet to be decided. Like, no, it's dog shit, because AI doesn't know. AI doesn't understand. AI doesn't have a goal. AI doesn't have something to say. Let's put it that way. AI just basically averages what inputs it's given. And, for certain things, okay, so for certain things, like I was trying to, what I wanted to do was create a Martin Scorsese theme park ride. I wanted a Martin Scorsese like a caricature saying, you must be this tall to ride the Martin Scorsese theme park ride. But I was never able to get AI to do that because AI didn't have a voice. AI doesn't have something to say. The best I got was Martin Scorsese in a theme park, just like looking bewildered. So I got something worthwhile out of it. But AI doesn't have a voice. AI doesn't have a burning passion to say something. And that's why AI will never, I mean, for stuff where you don't need that passion, okay. If you just want something pretty to throw on top of your cover, on a cover, maybe that's what AI is going to take over and do. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the future. Maybe that kind of stock photography is dead. Maybe that's the first victim of AI. But I feel like AI doesn't have a voice. And we think it does, but it doesn't really. At least not my understanding of how it works. It just doesn't seem like it works. It is. Yeah. Clay-Doh. How you doing, Clay? AI has the knowledge of an expert, but has the experience and skills of a baby. Pretty much. Like, it has no... Yeah. Like, the good example... Look, I'll admit it. I've been trying to get Midjourney to draw me some pretty sexy ladies, right? So I've been having it draw me women and draw like feminine characters. It's amazing how bad AI is at drawing certain things. Hands is one of them. Like if you ask AI to draw hands, it will often put 5 fingers and a thumb on a hand. It's very, very bad. And even like I was doing the way it was drawing like a female torso, because it was drawing like a woman in a bikini, the muscles on the abs look bizarre in half of them because it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just basically averaging a bunch of stuff. That's amazing technology, but it's not really, it doesn't have a voice. It doesn't have anything to say. It just averages everything. So yeah, AI can't do hands. Exactly. Somebody also pointed that out too. Neither can most artists. I mean, I've been doing a lot of cartooning. I've been getting better at hands, but I would say that AI makes worse hands than most amateur artists, because AI, like I said, AI has often put like 5 fingers and a thumb in the like the stuff like that. It's very bizarre. It's not even like just bad looking hands. It's just the hands just don't even look human. It's so bizarre because it's all averages. Can AI claim copyright? That is this topic I think is being discussed now, and I recall I think I'm following one of the Copyright Alliance or something like that on Twitter, and I believe that the Copyright Alliance is starting to formulate an opinion about that, about whether like who owns the copyright when it comes to the AI or it comes to the AI generated artwork. The other problem with AI too, here's a very important problem, and it's maybe something that we can. I mean, it's not, well, I don't know if it's solvable really. AI can't repeat the same results. Like if I said to Midjourney, draw me a woman in a red bikini on a beach sipping a Mai Tai, and it draws in that. It gives me 4 different versions of that, and I like the version 1, but I want to make it a blue bikini instead. It can't do that because it doesn't know what that means. The prompt just takes the information and it creates that summary, the average when it creates that image. Now, can that be fixed? Probably. It probably will be fixed pretty soon, right? It probably be done new. But from an artist standpoint, like it's kind of frustrating in that sometimes Midjourney, I would like Midjourney to create, let's say, I've been doing this cartoon. I've been kind of going back and doing my cartooning again. I was trying to finish my cartoon, my comic book. I want AI to draw me a restaurant background, like make a upscale fine dining restaurant. Go, draw that the dining room of a fine dining restaurant. Okay, cool. Now draw it from this angle over here. It can't do that because it was the image of the diner of the restaurant was never in the mind's eye of the artist. It's just a summation of all the different images. Boom. The way that solution was arrived at doesn't allow you to move the camera and put it in this angle and show me perspective from over here, because that restaurant never existed in any. Now, if I talk to an artist, draws me a restaurant. So okay, now but move the camera over here. The artist could do that because they've got a mental image of how the restaurant would look, and they can visualize. Okay, if I move the camera over here, I'd be seeing it from this angle. See what I'm getting at here with the AI, the limitation of the AI? Anyhow. David the Gnome says, I'm not surprised you didn't like Babylon. The trailer looked horrible. I walked in hoping it would be the one. Hoping it would be the one that I liked from Damien Chazelle. I wanted so bad, because when everyone hates on a movie, I want to see it. But oh man. Yeah, nice touch on the Ishtar Gates. I was looking at Babylon. Deep Story is an AI tool that generates stories, scripts, and poetry, etc. Yeah, Do you guys remember the book 1984? Not to get cheesy, right? There's a scene in 1984 where the lead, I forget the main character's name, but he's looking out at the prole, like the poor people, the proletariat, right? She's not part of the party, and she's just out there like folding laundry, and she's humming an auto generated melody that was created by a computer. You guys remember that scene from 1984? I mean, not the book. I don't think it was in the movie, but yeah. So that's where I think that's. There's just no soul. I mean, look, it'll work for a lot of things. Nados is the guy who designs poster. AI helps with sketching ideas real fast. Exactly. That's a good tool for it. Why not? Why not? I'm not against AI for tools, Yeah, but the 1024 resolution makes it totally useless in print. I think you can up the resolution and you can upscale it, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Ben Dover says, I didn't see Babylon, but I have this feeling it's a Vanity Published kind of thing. Well, I was watching something yesterday. It's like somebody was asking. I was watching some people just madly complain about the movie because I wanted somebody to confirm my feelings about it. They said, where are the producers? Where are the producers to say, hey, you're taking $100 million. Can you just rein it back a little bit? Rein it back? And then they noted, it doesn't help if the producer is one of the producers is in the movie, Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is one of the producers. Jack Ripper says, Everything Everywhere is still my favorite movie. Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of hankering to watch it again. I might invite my friends over that haven't seen it yet. Say, hey, you want to come over and watch Everything Everywhere all at once? Because I still feel like that movie still resonates for me. Yeah, the 1984 book. The book had an auto-generated for the Prole slop stories. Yep, I forgot the name of the device. Yeah, so I mean, it was being predicted a long time ago. Again, it's just a program of tools. People seem to personally, only because of some marketing, people call it AI. It's no intelligence app. I agree. The problem is, though, I think when people try to extrapolate the future of the tool, right? Because there are a lot of people on Twitter and all that who kind of like have this vision of AI or this tool basically taking over everything, and the way that's being discussed, they're almost celebrating the fact that it's taking over everything. But right, it's just a tool. It's just like for coders, right? If you're coding something and you just need some basic code, tell Chat. Oh, there you go. I wonder if ChatGPT can do JavaScript for the After Effects. I bet you it could. That'd be awesome, because I can never figure out like what I want to do with the action scripting. I can never figure out what I want, what it needs. I bet you ChatGPT could probably do it. Yeah, After Effects script. I mean, After Effects script, which shows a dot and then I'll have to try that. What about AI generated Nepo babies? The only Nepo baby AI would probably be Hal's son. What would Hal's son be named? Hal 9000. What would his son be called? Dolly. Maybe. Yeah. We only care about the AI when it's the children of the AI we all know. Like C3PO's kid. C4PO? I don't know. Dolly is an amazing paint in a module. Then you can do a little cool. But I never subscribe to you. Oh, or never. But never. But import the photos and blend them with AI created stuff. Oh, that's the thing about the Midjourney. They implemented the whole input your own photo, and that I was having fun playing with that. Whoa! Why am I subscribed to you? This was a cool little find, but I never subscribed to you. Well, there you go. It's my hypnotic plea to like, subscribe, ring that bell, do whatever the algorithm wants you to do. You will subscribe. You will hit the subscribe button, and then you will ring that bell. Rick Beato had a pretty good video on auto tuning. Check out Rick Beato. Sal, there you go, Sal 2000. Hal's little kid. And the only reason we care about Hal 2000, Hal Make 2 is IBM. There you go. One letter off. Absolutely not anymore. I don't think this was ever his fault. But no, thank you. What are we talking about? Oh, it was about a super chat because I was like, whoa, there's this random interesting guy that I happened to come across. Oh, thank you. But no, I think it was because I hypnotized you into clicking that subscribe button. That's really why. No, it won't code for you. Sure it will. ChatGPT will. ChatGPT's written code. I saw somebody do a little demonstration on ChatGPT coding for Blender, and he asked it to do write some code that would put like a cube exactly 100 units away from the origin randomly in a sphere, and it wrote that code. So it's pretty cool. If a copy is a copyright's violation, then an AI product can't be considered copyright. I think the question with AI with copyright is that copyright is a strictly human thing. So I think the philosophical question is, can a machine output something that is copyright protected? In the past, the answer is no. You cannot use a machine to basically compile a bunch of information to create, like there's an old copyright case about phone books. Is a phone book copyright protected? And the answer is no, it's not, because it's a computationally generated record. There's no human creativity. And I hate to keep going back to the Constitution, but that's kind of a good basis for copyright in the interest of advancing arts and useful sciences, right, is what the terminology for copyright. Again, American copyright's not the only thing it's not the philosophical basis of modern copyright anyway, but modern copyright is actually more personable because we talk about moral rights and stuff like that. So it's more individual based, more about like you created it, you therefore own it. The question is, if you ask the machine to create it, who owns it? Now, you could argue too that the prompt that you give the machine is a copyright protected. You generate that prompt, and the machine hands you back something. Again, I'm not fully read up on it, so it's not decided at all as far as what is happening with copyright and AI stuff. But And the other question too is like, well, what happens? Because we all know the way that AI works is by sampling a lot of different content, right? And basically taking all that information and summing it up and averaging it up and creating something new from the wealth of stuff that's out there. The question is that a copyright violation? Like if I told the AI, hey, make this photo of me look like it was shot by Annie Leibovitz, and Leibovitz is still alive, she has a copyright. It looks at all of her old photos, all of her body of work, and surmises something. Is that a alteration of her work, or is that just fair use of her work? I think I would argue more along the line, it is fair use, because it's not copying it, it's just referencing it. That's not necessarily a copyright. So yeah, I'm not fully read. I'm not totally prepared to talk to do a TED talk on the topic, but there is a lot to consider as far as what the copyright status of the situation is. Worst film or TV show of 2022. Worst show is She-Hulk. I freaking hated that show. I did not watch any of the Rings of Power and all that stuff, and I know a lot of like The Drinker and all those folks are all very, very down on those shows, or The Witcher. I didn't watch any of that stuff. So worst film of the ones I saw, Babylon, would that be in there? Again, there's got to be something worse I saw than Babylon. There's got to be something worse. Just got to be something worse. My buddy's a copyright lawyer. You should text him. Yeah, I think you would. If you sat down and talked to him, I think it'd be a very fascinating conversation. Yeah, Jack the Ripper, Rings of Power, and She-Hulk. Yeah, I just stayed away from Rings of Power. Yeah, Rings of Power. Everyone's saying it's. Again, I am not a Tolkien. I watched the Lord of the Rings. I enjoyed them at the time, but I've never read the books. I've read The Hobbit, but I never read the books. So I'm not super down with the world of Lord of the Rings, just not my thing. But oh my god! But yeah, so that's why I had no interest in Ring of Power. So as far as I hear, though, not good. Any more gigs on the trumpet? Not right now. I'm kind of. I need to actually go get my mailbox. I think the check for my Christmas Eve gig was supposed to get here, and I didn't see it. I haven't checked my mailbox in a long time. So, but yeah. No, nothing right now. It's still early, but I got. So now I'm going to work with a couple more with another city. I shot some stuff for another city, and now I'm doing a retainer thing with a Chamber of Commerce. So things are getting busy for me. And I'm going to start doing some council meeting recordings, which are not. I mean, I don't need to bring my equipment, which is awesome. I just show up and I operate the equipment. Oh yeah, yeah, baby, that's nice. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's see. Let's go back to comments here. Kudos on getting lots of work. Well, knock on wood, right? It's still January. Hopefully things keep going. I think they will. It's ramping up. I met with my friend Thurman yesterday, who's been I haven't seen him in a long time, and we were talking about like I need to. COVID put an end to filmmaking for me for a while. I just couldn't do anything. You can't make films during COVID, you know. Not the way I wanted to do them, which is actually bringing new people. I mean, if you had a close knit group of friends, you could have made films during the lockdown. But you know, if you wanted to meet new people, probably not a good idea during COVID. But now that COVID's restrictions have completely let up, hopefully it's just done. It's time to go back and and do it. Nate Dollar says, how many trumpet players does it take to change a light bulb? None. They can't go up that high. You rascally bastard. As a high note trumpet player specialist, you rascally bastard. But I'm Tish. Yep. Anyhow. So yeah, filmmaking is something that's high on my priority to do. Like actually make some films. Part of it also is I feel like social media has made people kind of hypersensitive And I feel like I got to get over that part of it. I don't know about you, but like I feel like on my Facebook, I have to be a little bit cautious of what I say because I don't want to get sucked into a conversation or an argument about something that I really don't care that much about. Like I argue a lot about 24 frames a second because it's something I can talk about that I know I own that topic. I know I can dominate that conversation. But like I hate talking about politics online because I don't feel like I know enough about it to really speak the way I want to speak about it. And it requires me to do a tremendous amount of research into the topic. And then for what reason? I'm not a politician. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just, I don't even want to get sucked into these conversations. So anyhow, I feel like that's made me sort of timid when it comes to like getting out there and presenting my ideas. I was even afraid to like put this little video out there, title this live stream as I hated Babylon, because I know half of the audience is going to hate me for saying that. Like I said when I hated Squid Game, people are like going to give me shit on that too. Who are you, John Hess, some schlub on YouTube? Why should you have an opinion? You shouldn't have an opinion. You're nowhere near as great. Did you win an Oscar like Damien Chazelle did? No, you're nobody. So I'm always sometimes a little timid about putting out an opinion of what I think online because I know I'm just going to be attacked. But whatever. You know, so what? So what if I get attacked? Big deal. And most of these guys that are attacking me are just blowing off steam. They don't know what they're talking about anyway. It doesn't matter. Just say what you want to say. So I'm getting a little more active on Twitter, a little more active on just saying things on social media. And again, I don't want to get sucked into pointless arguments, but I will get sucked into stuff about filmmaking because that's what I do. That's what I love. Anyhow. People talk a lot about social media, but there's one glaring difference between the old internet and the new internet. There weren't as many women. There weren't as many women online in the old internet. Oh my God. We're heading. It's like, you remember that scene from Groundhog's Day when Bill Murray is just driving, like, and the little Bill Murray puts the groundhog on the steering wheel and he's just driving off a cliff. This is where that comment thread is going. Women coming online with smartphones en masse is probably more of a game changer than people realize. One in many changes, surely, but I feel like it's a big one. You're not wrong. I love women. Women are awesome. I'd probably work with more women than I make with men. In fact, it's true. Almost all my clients are women. I love women. They're awesome. They're amazing. You're not wrong, though. But I love women. Women are awesome. Women are the better sex. Can we all agree, men? Women are far better, the far better sex. Women are superior to men in almost every single way. This is true. I don't need proof. We all agree to that, right, men? Right, men? Women are just better. We can all agree. Women are just better. Period. There's no but. There's no but. Women are just better. Totally better in every single way. Patriarchy. Because women are better. That's what we get. That's the quid pro quo. We all agree women are better. Better in every which way. Patriarchy. Quid pro quo. Sorry, I don't want to get too much into that detail, but I love women. Women are awesome. I wouldn't want to be a woman. I'm perfectly happy with the way I am. I like my anatomy attached. Thank you very much. Have I seen the menu? Yes, I have. I enjoyed it, Sheev. Palpatine. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think I talked about it earlier in the stream. Just a quick refresh. B movie, but enjoyable. Good acting. Checked Avatar's credits. Only one post-production credit. Oh, interesting. I don't believe it. The biggest multi-technique compositing job ever. A shitload of people have read it nonetheless. Yeah. I didn't know Avatar is only a one-house production. Well, you know, if it could have been a one-house production if they were given the amount of time that they had to shoot it. A lot of these, like the Marvel movies. So the problem, somebody, Matthews was saying this as a regular commenter, but I was telling him basically the problem with CGI and Marvel is Marvel got this idea in their head that they need to produce 3 movies and like 5 TV shows every single year. It's got to be in a conveyor belt. It's got to be chunk. Movies got to come out they've got a plan out, a 5-year plan for all these movies, and exactly said, and they're not, the release times are not inspired by ideas. The release dates are inspired by pure monetary desire or business strategy. That's why they have the release dates, right? So regardless of whether we have a good movie or not, Ant-Man Quantumania needs to come out on February. Is it good? Who cares? It just needs to come out. Could we spend a couple extra, give us another month to work on this? Nope. Make it happen. It's got to happen then. Because we got all this other money tied up into it. We've got the deals with Burger King because they're putting Ant-Man on the cups. All this shit's happening. We've got to have that movie released on that day because they have all this money tied up into it. Chunk. Blah, 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 blah. The elephant's asshole's right on your screen and it's just shitting on your face. If you missed anything I've said earlier, if you missed us discussing on Babylon, you did not get that reference. But that's the problem with CGI and Marvel. It's just it's all it is. And then you have a movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is like 5 guys who made this movie for like $10 million. It's not a cheap movie, but it's got it's got a lot of effects in it. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. But they are passionate about it. You got movies like freaking Tom Cruise and Top Gun. You can I don't know how true it is, how much passion he has for the filmmaking. It seems like it comes across like he actually does have passion. He sells you that. He sells the idea that, man, I'm really out there trying to get the best shot and do the best thing we can do. There's some passion behind that. Now, of course, they too also have their release dates and all that they have to hit, but it's not that chunk of movies, Yeah, same man. Hey, Matthews, how you doing? Yeah, it's the autofocus thing, or it's Damien Chazelle trying to kill me. Either one. How often are you gonna do live streams? I try to do it like once a week. I have a video that I've half completed. And I want to get that out next week sometime. It's called "What's a Normal Lens," and then I'll go get into. I want to get into the frame rate of the human eye, which will lead into the black frame insertion video. Dan Roy says the woman you was better. Definitely was. Anya Taylor-Joy is the woman you. Have you seen The Whale yet? I'm feeling it's going to be an eye roll fest. I heard that The Whale is hard to watch, and I don't feel like I want to watch The Whale. I feel like I don't want to watch that movie. Let's see. Feels like an episode of Person of Interest. Me. Let's see. Any Oscar contenders or movies you recommend? Yule Log. Go see Yule Log. Yule Log. Adult Swim, Yule Log. HBO Max. I talked about it last stream. I will talk about it again. Right now. Every indie filmmaker needs to watch Yule Log. Because any indie filmmaker who likes esoteric material content, bizarre, otherworldly filmmaking, needs to watch Yule Log. Because Yule Log looks like something that any filmmaker who's decent can make. And it's brilliant. It's amazing. It is so bizarre and clever and wacky and weird. It earns the Adult Swim, right? It earns that brand on it. It is Adult Swim's Yule Log. So don't think it's like some normal movie. It's sort of Lynchian, but it's not Lynchian. Anyhow, Yule Log. It won't win any Oscars, that's for sure. But I love that movie. Oscars, I feel like I want to make a video about the Oscars when when the Oscars come around. I don't know if I'll have time to put it all together, but I've lost interest in the Oscars completely because it feels like the Oscars are not interested in making movies that I want to see. I just, if the Oscars aren't they're a celebration of film, and that a celebration of a certain kind of film, and celebration of a certain genre of film, and the politics of it all. It's like people. I've had clients say, "Oh, we're going to win an Oscar for this." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." I don't get me wrong. I would love to be invited to the Oscar ceremony. I would love to have to get a tux, get my tux fitted to me, and go to the Oscars. And I'd love to be nominated for an Oscar. I'd love to receive an Oscar. That would be awesome. But if you were asking me in my heart of heart, do I really want one, or do I care about it? No, I don't. I don't. VFX machine goes brr. Yep. Yeah. Oscar should change his name to Tony. God damn it, Sex69 for not fun. I thought every time we like freaking ban that account and they keep coming back. Why that account keeps put user on a hide user channel. There we go. All right. All right. Matthias says, looking forward to your video on the frame rate of the eye. Still important to make clear no person's light is exactly the same. There are some people who can't stand the flickering of BFI. Yeah. The frame rate of the human eye is going to be an interesting video in that I state multiple times that the eye has no frame rate. I keep saying it over and again. Like, that's the mantra of this video. The eye has no frame rate. Can we say it again? The eye has no frame rate. But if the eye had a frame rate, here are some numbers that are kind of like interesting phenomena happen at these numbers. So that's where I go with that. But yeah, the people that can't stand the flickering of BFI, I don't know. I never trust anybody's. I never trust what anybody writes on a comment section. Like I just don't trust that, because if the BFI is like at 120 hertz or even at 72 hertz, can they really see the flicker? Or do they only see the flicker when they compare it to a non-BFI image? Because that's very obvious. If you go from a full-on screen and then you switch it to BFI, now again, like a 60 hertz BFI, you can kind of see it, but you have to compare it to it. And then, but if like 100, like a 60 or 72 to 100 BFI, again with the frame rates, I know. You get to that, do you really see the flicker? I don't know. All right, no, let's not talk about frame rate then. I'm tired of talking about frame rate too. Enough with the frame rates. My hot take is that the Oscars are an American award ceremony, and given to foreign films is a sign that the philosophy behind the ceremony is compromised. Well, Clay, here's the thing. The Oscars were never meant to celebrate achievement in film. You know that? Did you know that? Yeah, did you know that the Oscars were invented by Louis B. Mayer, or at least he was one of the key people. And I'll see if I can find the quote. I'm going to read for you the quote that Louis B. Mayer wrote about why the Oscars were. Louis B. Mayer, Oscars. Let's see if I can find the quote, what he said about it. Well, look up Louis B. Mayer and the Oscars. There's an article here. It says Louis B. Mayer created the Oscars to combat Hollywood unions. It's not incorrect. I mean, maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, like title, and a way to talk about it. I'm trying to find a quote that he had about the Oscars. Let's see here. Why were the Oscars created? Mental floss. Mental floss is not that bad. Maybe they have it. Here it is. The Lion of Hollywood, the life and legend Louis B. Mayer. Scott Eyman quotes a rather smug-sounding Mayer on the Oscars. Quote, I found that the best way to handle filmmakers was to hang medals all over them. If I got them cups and awards, they'd kill themselves to produce what I wanted. That's why the Academy Award was created. That's why. It wasn't meant to celebrate film. That's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It was meant to basically get people to do the producer's bidding. And it's been morphed. Now, look, as everything, you can't say that it was made a certain way. Like, oh, that was the origin, and now it's exactly the same thing. No, it's not. It's morphed. It's morphed now into basically a celebratory, industry-centric kind of pat yourself on the back sort of ceremony. What did you just walk into? You just walked into a live stream, Daniel. Patrick Albright says he edited a mini-series at 60 FPS to get 15, 25, 24, 30, 60i, and 60p inside. There you go. Mr. Marmellos, thanks for the super chat from New Zealand. $10 New Zealand says, # the world, us, and big place. Enjoy it. Heart sign. I feel that. I feel that, man. I feel that. Yeah. What's my favorite AI-themed flick? Good one. So, you know what's an interesting movie? When I was in college, I took a class called Religion and Science, which was a very interesting class. Although I feel like it was still shallow in that it didn't cover what I've kind of grown to understand about religion and science. But one of the books we had to read was Lem's, what was the name of that book? Dang it! Solaris. And when I read the book Solaris, I was young and I had, young man's burning fire of desire in my heart. And I read that book and I absolutely fell for the romantic story of Solaris. Like it entranced me, that book. And then I watched, then the George Clooney movie came out, and I watched that and I thought, this is nothing like the book that I read. And I think I saw the Russian movie that was made in the 70s, and that was better, but it wasn't quite there. And you asked the AI themed movies, and I kind of think that movie is somewhat AI movie. Because, spoiler alert, Solaris is about a space station around a planet. And the planet sort of learns how, it gets inside the mind of the space explorers. And then it creates this guy's dead wife. For some reason, when you said AI themed stories, that angle hit me the most. To me, it was the most profound, the Solaris story. But as a movie, it didn't. Movie didn't do much. I think something more like Her is a great. I think Her is pretty close. Okay, Her is pretty close. Her is close. Is it Spike Jonze? I liked Her, but I feel like Her didn't take it far enough. Like I think the questions with AI and how we fundamentally relate to AI were not fully explored in Her. I think Her just treated AI like another human being. And in some cases, the exploration of that movie was about how we relate to relationships that we lose. It's not necessarily about AI so much as it about the main characters. It's a relationship story about the main character. It's not really sci-fi. It is sci-fi a little bit, but it's not the hardcore that's an interesting change of how reality would work, right? So as I talked about, the other movie I think AI is probably my favorite. The one I think goes far enough is Ex Machina. Ex Machina I feel dives deep enough into the weirdness and reality bending and thought provoking world. I think AI or Ex Machina is probably so far my favorite AI themed movie. And definitely not AI, the Spielberg Kubrick movie, actually. I think that movie aims way too low. I never watched Bicentennial Man, although I should probably see that. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't watch it. Yeah, Her wasn't about AI, it's about ego. I think you're right there. It's a story about ego masked in a story about AI, but it's not really about AI. Yeah. There was a Andrew Tarkovsky's, they talk about Solaris. Yeah, Solaris. I like this. I think I don't remember watching it. I mean, I must have seen it because I vaguely remember it, but I just don't remember it too well. But I think I remember liking it. I thought the George Clooney thing was just, it was like, let's make it an action movie when it's not a freaking action movie. Solaris is not an action movie. He's talking about AI, artificial intelligence, the Spielberg. I feel like that was trying so hard to reach for a Pinocchio reference, and then the ending just goes off the rails. It's like, what the hell? Just real quick, Matthew says, I confess all my sources about BFI are on the internet. I shouldn't put much stock into what the internet says. I'll just indulge this real quick. The thing with BFI is that there's two things you have to recall. You do need to look at BFI in a darker environment. Like BFI in a bright environment is going to flicker harder than if you turn off all the lights in a dark room, it's going to flicker less. So dimness helps the flicker. That's the point. I'll make a video about it. It's fascinating. Fascinating topic. Anyhow. Kaboosh says, ask me if I like La La Land or Whiplash. Rewind and watch. The answer is no. But I appreciate their filmmaking. I didn't like the movies. Let's see. So just real quick, still on this frame rate stuff. 60 hertz is what people generally online say it causes eye strain to them. The thing is, though, like that's the way all televisions were up until most televisions of all time were 60 hertz. That's the thing I don't get. Like, 60 hertz bothers me. I can see it. Look, when I flip my TV on to 60 hertz BFI, I can see the flicker. Now, if I turn the room dark, will I still see it? Nah. Will I get used to it? Maybe. It's also one of those things where if you back to back compare them, yeah, you're gonna see the flicker. But anyhow, have I seen the Astro Boy animes? No, I'm not really big on anime. Although Faye Valentine in the back there. Black Mirror was the most capable as of now of translating the AI theme to film. Yeah, I never dug Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror was too pessimistic, but I think it had some very accurate stuff in it. Old movies had the better VFX art. I think you were telling me about that, Daniel. Yeah, that's an interesting. Somebody on the Twitter thread was saying that he teaches film, and some kid was talking about how, that original King Kong didn't have very good visual effects. I mean, the King Kong looked like really janky in that. The CGI in that movie sucked. And it's like, dude, you do realize the original King Kong didn't have CGI. Damn, I love Whiplash and La La Land. Now you're making me look forward to Babylon. Half the people who saw Babylon loved it. So it's a divisive movie. I'm just belonging to the half that hated it. So, I mean, go see it. Go try to help it make its $100 million budget back. It's only got $7 million right now, so it needs all your help. Get your friends to go see it with you. Robert McCoy says, Avatar 2 in HFR 3D was incredible. All right, sure. Yeah, thanks for all your answers. Yeah, sure. Thanks for all your comments too. I enjoy reading them all, Matthews. I enjoy reading people that are not trying to attack me. Like that one guy, he kept saying like we're having this back and forth about. He's like, I've watched every single video on frame rate, and I'm like, no, you haven't. Or every video of mine. And he's like, you do. He's like, what am I missing when I say that the frame rate's like high frame rate's the future and it's new? What are you missing? It's the fact that we've been shooting high frame rate for a long time. Like I said, I've been shooting it since the early 2000s. Anyhow, the one episode of Black Mirror with Domhnall Gleeson is fantastic. I don't remember which one. They dragged me out of that. They could have dragged me out for a 2-hour movie, mate. I forget which one that was. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen some of them. Do I watch Corridor Crew? Not really. They're just not my style. Although, like they did that video about anytime you see a video where you say, "Is this technology going to change everything?" The answer to that question is no. I watched that video, Corridor Crew. They did the thing about where they could take an object and then they had a phone and they could just create this 3D imagery out of it. And they thought that that would change everything as far as like how CGI, and no, it doesn't. No, it isn't. Absolutely not. Like you can create some cool stuff with it, but it doesn't change anything at all. Like I just felt it was like, oh yay, I can make these cool effects with this thing. Yes, they're cool. They're awesome. I wish I could make them myself. I wish I'd play with it. I didn't really get any decent results because I didn't really spend enough time with it, and didn't kind of lost interest when I realized what it was and what it doesn't do. But anyhow. Roger, gotta go soon? All right. What's your suggestion for a good, affordable 3D printer? Okay. Props and 3D replica making. Ender 3 or Ender 5 Plus is relatively affordable. It will take a little bit of tweaking to get it right. Ender 5 will give you enough space to actually print a helmet in with one go. Ender 3 is a very cheap printer. So you can get one for like $100 if you go to like Micro Center on a certain deal. But if you wanted to print like a helmet or a wearable prop, you might have to break it down to pieces and then glue the pieces together, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine to do. But the Ender 5 is great because it's a big volume printer. But those are very affordable, consumer level, entry level, but they require you to tinker a lot. So you'll need to tinker with them. But those printers will be good for making props and wearables, stuff like that. Maybe Tron and Blade Runner. Oh, yeah. What about Blade Runner? I forgot about Blade Runner. Yeah, Blade Runner will probably be up there as far as AI. Did you talk in depth about the ending of Babylon? It seemed the most souring bit of the movie for most folks. I love the movie, still struggle with it. The ending of Babylon was shit. I did talk about it. I complained. I complained so much about it. Don't make me go back there. It was a dark place. It was a dark, haunting feeling. The technology that will change everything is oil. There will be blood. There will be blood. I have friends who say it's CGI when they talk about old movie effects too. It's true. Yep. We forget about that stuff. How long have we been on there? I've been on for 2 hours. Man, we got to cut these down a little bit. I enjoy talking to you. I got it out of my system. I feel better about Babylon now. Thank you guys. I no longer need to shout at the clouds. Old man screams at cloud. I don't need to do that anymore. I appreciate. Yeah. And I can't wait to see the comments of all the people saying I am a rube. Where's my Oscar, John? You don't have an Oscar and you don't have anything. You are a piece of shit. You don't know anything about movies. You and your old 24 frames per second. You're an awful human being. How dare you have an opinion that is mimicked by basically half of the opinions of all the people that saw the movie. I'm not a minority or a majority. I'm basically plurality of the feeling about this film. How dare you? You are so myopic. Your glasses are so thick. Just insulting myself. $8 says, let's go shoot some 4x5. Yes. I want to do that. I don't have time right now to shoot anything. I'm trying to put stuff together. Next week's going to be pretty busy. I got some theater tickets next week for Mean Girls. That'll be fun. I'm going to the Pantages Theater in LA, see some of that. That'll be fun. And I've got like my first council meeting next week, and I got a couple of Student of the Month program. D Fire says, I read in a review that his montages to eliminate a better future with a solution to filmmaking, but he simply left the stream of images irresolute. Perhaps he dredged that is called reading into it what is not there. His montage at the end of the movie was a pale attempt to try to justify the crap that he spent 2 hours showing. He was trying to justify, oh look at all these the pain and suffering that these people they wanted to be part of something greater. They wanted to be part of a long history of film, and I'm going to show you this history of film. Look what they achieved. No, they didn't earn that. They didn't earn it at all. It was the stupidest, it was the cheapest, lamest attempt to try to squeeze out some sort of relevancy for the film. A film which opens in the first 2 minutes where the elephant shits on the camera lens. They wanted you to think that you watched something great, when in fact you watch an elephant got shit on the fucking lens. That's how much of a turd. I guess I haven't let it all out. I haven't let it all out yet. I have not let it all out yet. There's still some burning inside of me. Still some pain and anger 2 hours into this thing. Oppenheimer or Barbie, and I would say, answering the meme, ¿Por qué no los dos? I would watch both those movies. And I will, because I like both of those filmmakers. I like Greta Gerwig. And yeah. I read the reading of Babylon that essentially said the ending was a nihilistic view of cinema and not a celebration. It helped me find better meaning in the film. I found some meaning in the shit I took in the toilet. You can find meaning in anything, man. The film was just garbage. Sure, nihilistic view of cinema. All right, sure, whatever. I've taken shits in the toilet, and I've gleaned more information from that than I did on the ending of fucking Babylon. Piece of shit movie. Have you seen a video by the YouTuber Noodle? I mean, the video, how TV screens are made watching movies worse. Talks about aspect ratio issues. Growing up, it always agonized me when people shamelessly zoomed in on a film. Oh, you're talking about pan and scan and stuff like that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, pan and scan is it's not, it's still here, right? Like the reason why we have vertical video is because people don't want to watch letterbox. They want to watch full screen vertical video. That's why we have vertical video. Because we hold our phones a certain way, and we don't want to watch a thin little tiny like sliver. We want to watch the full screen. So that's where vertical video comes from. Focus is soft on my camera. Let's see. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not watching it closely. I think it's pretty sharp. Occasionally, you might see that that little focusing box come up. Let's see if I get closer. There, see the focusing box. So if I get closer, it'll try to focus on me. Yeah, for some reason it's feeding the focusing box into the HDMI today. I don't know why. So, anyone watch 13 Lives? No, I haven't heard that one. I watched The Triangle of Sadness and I hated it. That's sad. Part of that triangle, I guess. Did you see Bardo by Inarritu? What do you think about it? No, I haven't. I'm not that big a fan of Inarritu. Well, wait, Inarritu? I'm trying to think. I wasn't that big a fan of Roma. I thought it was kind of slow. Have I seen White Noise yet? No. Is that on streaming yet? I know it's not theaters. I'd see White Noise because I like Greta Gerwig and I like Noah Baumbach. Let's see. Is White Noise on... Is it out yet? Netflix. Okay. I'll try and watch it on Netflix. I'm going to watch it tonight. What appended to TVs with larger than 16:9 aspect ratio? What? I'm not sure what the question. Appended? Talking about like larger, like 2.39 aspect ratio, the 21:9 aspect ratio. Did you ever watch Hardcore Harry? No, I did not. Hardcore Henry. The funny story about that, Hardcore Henry was shot in 48 frames a second. Did you know that? Hardcore Henry was shot in 48 frames a second. It was never released in 48 frames a second. It was shot in 48. Probably because they wanted to be able to control like motion and all that. How we view media shapes how it's shot. That's how we got video, vertical video. Absolutely. So I suspect shows are doing more close-ups on faces thanks to high phone viewership of shows. You're probably not wrong there. You love the backgrounds of the live stream. I was trying to come up with some new ones. Oh, thank you. Roma's Cuarón. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get them mixed up with Inarritu. I like that space movie Inarritu made. I forget the name of it. Gravity. I mean, I saw it in theaters. I liked it. If you think about it for too long, yeah, you realize how stupid it is. But I like movies when they're stupid. You know, I don't mind as long as they're entertaining. It all comes back to frame rate. Yeah, I know. I'm the frame rate guy. You guys keep talking about frame rate to me. Romo was the other Mexican. You're out to was Birdman. I love the Birdman movie. Oh yeah, Birdman was awesome. I love the Birdman so. I thought it was one of my favorite movies. Revenant I was not crazy about, but Birdman was great. And Gravity was the other guy as well. Okay, fine. I'm getting them all mixed up. But I like Gravity. I avoided the Hardcore Henry in theaters because of frame rate, but I watched it at home and it felt actually nice. Probably also because you don't want to watch Hardcore Henry on a big screen. Like you want to watch it on a smaller screen so you're not completely overwhelmed by seasickness. I don't know if you got anybody here old enough. I'm sure there's a couple of people that are old enough to have seen Blair Witch Project in theaters. Like Blair Witch Project in theaters. My dad was still alive when we saw it in '97, and it made us sick. It was really hard to watch. And I remember after the movie, people were kind of still sitting in seats, kind of like, what did we just watch? And we were just like, oh, that was terrible. That was just hard to take. Anyhow, all right, it's almost 5:00 here. Any last moment comments before I take off? Let's see how many people have been bitching at me for not liking Babylon. And I don't think partly because not many people saw Babylon and half the people that did see it hated it. So I don't think I'll get pushed back on this video. All right. No, it was 99 or 97, I think, right? Blair Witch Project? Or 98. Let's see. Blair Witch Project. Blair. Because I remember I used to make fun of the very beginning of the. It says in 1990, summer of '97, like a bunch of filmmakers went out to the woods to do a study on filmmaking. Like they were never found, but this is the footage that they found. Blair Witch. Because I remember it was like 97 or 97, 98, something like that. Because it also came out right around Titanic. 99. I was way off. Screw me then. Oh, is it maybe it said 90? Maybe the title card said like 97 or 98. Maybe that's what it is. Let's see what the title card say. Title card. 19. Okay, no, it said October of 1994. 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. So it was 94. And when I did my parody, I made it 97. Well, no, I could have made it 97. It was a 99. Whatever. All right. You're right. It is 99. I don't think Blair Witch qualifies for Dogma 95 because it was black and white sequences. I don't think Dogma. Was it Dog Me 95? I don't think that was even a thing. Oh, I guess it was 95. Yeah. I don't think they were going for that anyway. I don't think they're part of the Dog Me style. Anyways, it's just found footage. Let's see. It was Babylon. Why was Babylon bad? Well, you can rewind and watch the beginning of my stream. What was the best year for movies? I'm going to go with 39. Is Blair Witch of Dogma 95? I don't think it was. Like I said, I don't think it was. Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. Okay, here. What's annoying watching a horizontal video on a phone are the times when holding it horizontal won't rotate the image. Yeah, I know. And some videos have to put the phone horizontal and then click on the full screen, then it'll be corrected. Yep. Hey, Paul T, stumbled on this channel. Hope you didn't get hurt. Hope we didn't fall too hard. Thank you for saying it. Yeah. Cannibal Holocaust, definitely one of the first found. Definitely, absolutely. 100% agree. Dan Roy says, John, it's Dog Meat 95. Dogma 95. Yeah, I don't know. I get. I'm not into the. I was watching the thing about the reviews. I was watching. I think 1 hour of hate on Babylon. These three people were just dishing their anger at this movie, and I kind of agree with them. Not kind of fully, but they kind of described it as auteurs gone wild. And in many ways, it feels like we're kind of getting to that point. Where are the producers? Where are the producers to kind of rein people in and say, hey, you're a great director, but I gotta like pull you back. I gotta pull you back and bring you at least in line with what we're trying to do here. And Babylon is like auteurs gone wild. Dogma 95 sort of is auteurs gone wild. I don't know. My house is on fire. I'm going to finish this comment and then go search Google for help in modern times. Exactly. Oh man, my neighbor's pounding away something over there. Something's fierce. Have you watched the animated films Cats Don't Dance? It's a tribute to Hollywood's golden age, but it's a critique of it. If not mistaken, Gene Kelly helped the animators with the musical numbers. Is that the one where Gene Kelly's dancing with Jerry the mouse, or Tom the mouse? Whichever is the mouse, Tom and Jerry. I've ever seen that movie. I've seen that That's Entertainment by MGM. They always like reference that movie. Those are the days back when we used to like rent videotapes from the library. What's the deal with that movie Sallow? Like everybody's like, it's making the rounds again. Like everyone's programming it. Like I saw the Academy, because I donated some money to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts back before COVID, before things got really freaking strange, and now I'm on their mailing list, and they were like screening Sallow, 120 Days of Sodom. Damn, my neighbor's really going to town. I'm just dropping shit over there. 120 Days of Sodom, and I was like fascinated by the movie. What the hell is this movie? And I started reading up about it, and I thought, I do not want to watch this movie. But then I'm seeing like a lot of places programming it. Like they're all programming Sallow. And I'm like, just sounds awful. Like, look, here's the thing. I help my mom go to the bathroom. I don't need to watch people shit on movies. I can see it. I've seen that already. All right. What is it? Regaro Diodato? Is that the Cinema or Dogma 95 guys? Seems like a lot of movies about movies right now. Well, you got to talk about yourself, right? Apocalypse Now feels like a Toro's gone wild. Yeah, kind of. Anyhow. Who is Damien Chazelle's Chili Palmer? I think Chili Palmer was supposed to be sort of an amalgamation of Louis Armstrong. Yeah, there's a whole scene in there where, okay, spoilers, it's about like this black musician who kind of gains notoriety, gains some fame, and but then doesn't want to be part of the Hollywood system, partly because what they do, they are lighting. Here's what I don't. Okay, you're gonna get. Okay, I forgot. I didn't mention this part. We're gonna go. All right. So they're shooting this black trumpet player. He's like kind of the central part of this movie. He's always being used as a thematical device to kind of represent the jazz era or whatever. He's being shot on the stage where he's got his band around him and they're all black. And he's black. But the problem is that he's coming off as too light-skinned. So they're saying, well, you look too light-skinned, man. Like everyone, it's looking like a mixed race band, and we can't have mixed race bands because half the country is going to ban the movie if we show mixed race in a band. I'm not sure if that's quite the case. I mean, probably is in some sense. So your lighting on you is just too bright. Here's what you need to do. You need to put on blackface. So they hand him like a little thing of charcoal or whatever, black face makeup. And so he has to cover his face in blackface. A black man has to do blackface in order to not look darker than his bandmates. Why couldn't they just dim the light? Why couldn't they just dim the lights on him, or I don't know, light the band more? I mean, are you telling me that in this era they didn't know how to dim a light or put a scrim on it or put a no. They made him put blackface on. Really? That's what I mean. I hate this movie. Oh, is it 120 Days of Shalom or Salem? Salo, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It's a movie I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch people taking shits and eating it. It just looks nasty. I don't care if they're chocolate. It just looks freaking nasty. Is your neighbor aiming at you, or is it your autofocus? It's Damien Chazelle. He's taken over the camera. He has a like 120 caliber rifle gun pointed directly at me. Damien Chazelle will fire as soon as this stream ends. If we do not get 10 more super chats, Damien Chazelle will end my life. Just kidding. But yeah, wow. Have I seen the Warner Brothers 100th birthday video? No. Some people are complaining that it's called MGM. It's filled with MGM films. WB has pre-1986 MGM catalog, but they definitely weren't made by WB. Good point. You know, it's interesting because I was trying, when I was doing the studio videos, I was trying to do some basic research on all the studios. And MGM is the weirdest one. Like what happened to MGM after the studio era is just bizarre. Like it's just confusing where it all. Yeah, Pasolini directed Salo, and he had a crazy life. He got killed in a very mysterious way too, right? Wasn't he like shot by an angry fan or something like that, or like he was going to a movie and somebody like just gunned him down? Like he just didn't like his movies or something. I forget what the story was. It was like a very bizarre end to his life too. So he didn't make that many movies. Anyhow, some people say that WB is selling short its own actual history by including MGM films in its birthday video. Yeah, maybe. I'm not gonna. I just don't care. I've lost my care about stuff like that. I'm sure Disney will make 100 years of Disney, which include all the Fox movies too. So, anyhow. Chili Palmer is from Get Shorty. Some people say people don't do their best work when you hold a gun to their head. He says sometimes people do their best work when you hold it. Oh, okay. Is that what? I think the Palmer character is in Babylon. And maybe I got them mixed up. All right, I'm getting tired. My voice is going. I should go home. My mom is by herself. I should take care of her. Any last minute comments? Nice little lively stream today. It's fun. 61 viewers. Pretty lively here. Sorry. Patrick says 60. Where is that comment? A technical comment. I like that. 60 IRE for whites and 40 IE segregation here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't understand in the way they shot it too. Like he wasn't that light colored. He really was. You could still tell he was black. Like the film didn't exactly make him look white, but they could have just scrimmed the light. They could have done that. I don't see why they couldn't have. Like if that was such an issue, instead of like, hey, make the black guy wear blackface. Like such a man. It's a man. But John, it's not a documentary. It's supposed to be an allegory to the way that the treatment of the minority. I get that, but it's a manufactured situation. What film stock was it? I guess. I mean, it would have been like. It would have. Well, I guess. No, I guess you're right. That would have been in black and white. But still, just scrim the light a little bit. Because the problem was like he was coming off too light skinned. But then again, yeah, I've seen plenty of black and white movies of black people that were lighter skinned. I don't know. Whatever. You can fabricate some explanation. I'm sure. It just felt so, especially for 2023, it felt so like in such poor taste. Like the most of the movie, it's just such poor, awful taste. Favorite documentary on filmmaking? I don't know. I don't know. There's a good one. Uh, was there one that Kubrick's daughter made of her dad during Shining? That was pretty interesting too. But there are I really so I do like the series, the movies that made us. I really like those series. I recommend that series on Netflix to anybody because they don't interview famous people. They interview people that work on the little people on the films. They all get a chance to tell their experience from their side. So I think that's a great series to check out. American Movie, that's a good one. Yeah, that's going too. I remember that one. That was the one about that guy that had the crazy guy that was trying to make a movie. I think I saw that one. That was pretty good too. Grizzly Man, yeah. I don't know about. I never saw Grizzly Man, but I'm kind of afraid to watch that one. Oprah did have to invest in videotech because film stock thought it was systematic from top to bottom. I'm not quite sure what that means. I hate that trope, that commentary that film is racist. That film is systematically racist because it didn't portray dark-skinned people very well. Fact of the matter is, film just wasn't that good, and the fact is that dark-skinned people just had less contrast than light-skinned people. That's just the truth. You know, I'm sorry if that offends people, but you're denying physics if you think that dark skin doesn't reflect as much light as white skin. That's just physics. That's the reality. And the reason why maybe the film wasn't prioritized for dark skinned folks in the beginning because technology is technology. It needs to advance. It needs to be able to capture better tonal differences. It wasn't because it was racist. It was because the technology just wasn't there to capture that kind of the more nuance that the dark skin requires. So I just bristle anytime I hear that. Oh, film was racist. Film was racist against black people. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So all right. See you later, Jack. I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon here. Jodorowsky's Dune. Okay, the documentary about making it. He never made it, right? Yeah. Kodiak just watched the new Avatar movie. So why are you watching this? You didn't get enough. You didn't get enough motion video. Didn't get enough motion picture for a day. 3 hours. You're gonna watch this stuff. This crappy. No. Where's my Oscar? I don't have an Oscar. Why do you want to watch me for? I don't have no freaking Oscar. Slap that like button, says Nay. And yeah, good point. All right, what about microphones and black voices? I don't know what that means. Are you saying that microphones weren't racist because they recorded black voices just as well as they recorded white voices? Sure, I guess. I don't know where we're going with that. I just people right now they're just looking for any excuse to justify their own basically bigotry. I think I'm going to reveal myself, and I'm tired in 2 hours of streaming here. There is more bigotry today there's just as much bigotry today as there was before in the past. And the bigotry today finds itself in places you wouldn't expect it to be. There's a lot of bigotry there. A lot of it. Lots. And you try to be a person that can be fair and nice to people and treat people by the content of their character and not by the skin color. But oh man, you open up Twitter and you see so much hatred and bigotry. And it's not just the people against black people. It's not just that. There's a lot of bigotry against Americans, a lot of bigotry against white people. Now let's get over that crap. Come on, people. The only thing systematic is madness nowadays, not racism. I think humanity is bigoted. Humanity has a tend toward bigotry and hatred, and some of these new ideologies are allowing people to just embrace that. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm old school. I want that. Let's all come together. What's one of the few what's one of the films remind you of your humanity that grounded you? Like Everything Everywhere All at Once is a recent one that has done that. Matilda, I talked about last week. ruins me. It hurts me so hard when I watch that film, and there's certain bits of that film that just rock me to the core. But I do deal with a few DPs who aren't particularly great at exposing darker tones, though. It's true. I mean, are they racist? No. I don't want. I don't know. Maybe the ones you know are, but it's the problem is the darker tones are more difficult to expose for. It's just true. It's just true. Anyhow, most anticipated movie of 2023: Oppenheimer and Barbie. Those are my picks. Gonna watch Babylon tomorrow. Excited how they abused the film stock. They didn't abuse the film stock worth anything, man. Well, they overexposed the scenes by 5 and 4, stops indoor by 2, maybe, but the DP didn't give any hint that they were trying to go for an old look. I mean, yeah, I did feel that they were overexposed a little bit outdoors. Yeah, I get that, but I did not get a sense of artistry into it. Film overexposed by 4 to 5 goes wonky as hell. I think they purposely did try to make it a little bit extra bright on the outside. Yeah. Oh boy, Matilda, I lived next to the studio while they were filming. Oh, they sang every Saturday night. I used to wake up the hangover. My favorite song on that is Revolting. 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 The guy that wrote that, Tim Minchin. Tim Minchin wrote all that music, and it's really cool. Is it true Nolan wanted an excuse to just detonate a nuclear explosion? Yeah, pretty much. I think that's what we wanted to blow shit up. Last question, we'll leave it at that. What's your favorite scripts? I haven't read a lot of scripts recently, but I think one of my favorite ones is The Truman Show. Truman Show, I think, is it's really a tight script. Like in the script, I think, and I don't know if I read the original script or somebody's rip-off original, but the original script has a few more different elements to it that aren't in the movie. But I think The Truman Show is just a very, very clever, tightly written script. That just happens to be the one that just came off the top of my head, because I remember actually reading that script. Anyhow. Matthias, we'll just leave it at this. 24 frames a second can make the video to make it look like a video by using very fast shutter. It won't look smooth and like actual HFR. Not quite right. That's not quite how it is. All right, fine. We'll keep going. History of Hollywood. I'd like to see working in the American intelligence stuff, like a good spy show. Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Just saw Wednesday got renewed. Good for her. I like Jenna Ortega. She looks great in the movie. I just wasn't my show, but good for them. Glad they checked it out. So happy, good job, Wednesday. Hopefully Netflix will not cancel you midway through the next season. All right, but good job on you guys. All right, guys, it's been cool. It's been real. I've let my anger out. I can now go relax. I'm going to probably go to the gym and do a little bit of racquetball, solo racquetball challenge. I've been doing a lot of gym work, so I've been trying to make it a habit to go to the gym. That's my goal this year. I don't want to lose weight. I want to just get a habit of going to the gym and going to get some exercise. And I've already lost weight. So not my goal. I'm not trying to lose weight. I am trying to lose weight, but it's not my goal. I just want to go to the gym and pump some iron and just feel better about myself and take out some of that anxious anger that I got from watching Babylon. And check it out. All right, thanks for hanging out. We've got good numbers today, 51 folks. See you later. I'll be back next week, hopefully with a video and another live stream. Talk to you later. All right, bye-bye. Let's go ahead and end the stream. Hit OK. Take care. See ya.